3-by-1 formation into the boundary, your best call versus this look. We'll do it depends on what they're doing out of 3-by-1 formation in the boundary. The first thing I would tell you is, do you travel your nickel or not? Right. I think you need to have the ability to do both. You need to be able to travel DBs into the boundary, but then know that a lot of teams are going to line up into the boundary and motion back out of that. I like to play 3 deep zone, have rocks on a page, be able to spin down. One of the pressures that we were just talking about was a boundary pressure. I'll draw it up. Let me grab a marker here real quick. Right. They're lined up into the boundary. I'd like to figure out a way to line up with some sort of sky support in the boundary. So let's say we left our start of the field. We're playing one of our normal techniques, right? That we'll run to the field from the boundary from time to time, where we'll actually blitz our money linebacker, right? We'll come down with our safety and sky support, right? And play a version of 3 deep zone, take our middle field safety and play the middle of the field, right? But now we're going to be stunt stepping here, running what we call that a vortex, right? Where guys can come off the edge and we're going to read the tackle, right? And now we've got 3 deep zone hook defenders to both sides, curl flat defenders to both sides. We're able to bring pressure to that side and have some good success. I've been a big fan of that, boundary pressure versus a 3-by-1 team that's into the boundary. But ultimately, we're going to have multiple calls. I think every single week, you want to be able to have, some answers that you can carry a couple different ways. If I see one thing that I always have on my call sheet, okay, I see formation to the boundary. What are the calls I like in formation to the boundary? And each week it's different. It's also based on what I put on film. Are you traveling your nickel? Or are you not? So there'll be ways that I can travel my nickel to the boundary, my star to the boundary. There'll be ways that I'll keep them to the field. If I keep them to the field, I better have an answer to get my hat count right. Be able to either spin down into sky, cloud my corner, get a backer to boss out of the box and plus over there. So if you have that, you also want to have boundary pressure. You want to have the ability to do the same thing into the boundary. So you don't need a million answers. One of the things we're focused on right here now at Oregon is making sure that we don't have a million answers, right? Limit our answers. Let's be able to execute the answers we do have at a high level. Again, showing pressure to the field, right? Trying to show population to the field. Now bringing pressure from the boundary, right? And you can play, a variety of coverages over here to the boundary when you do that. Right. Another look. Right. Again, we're running a boundary pressure. You can see again, guys identifying birds and rabbits or runs or pass. Right. Good communicate. One thing I'll say, if you ever want to find a good defense, find a defense that communicates. Right. Again, we're bringing the backer off the edge. Ball gets checked down. Right. It looks like, hey, they're running a man beater. And again, we're in position playing zone. Right. So we have an extra dropper there ready to play the under, and he's in position to go make a play. Another look with a boundary pressure here. Really good example. Now we'll build in different stunt mechanics when we do it. So here we're running a boundary pressure, but we're reading the offensive tackle. If the offensive tackle comes out, we're going to run what we call a tech stunt, right? We're going to be up and under, right? And now we're able to gain, an extra hat, extra gap, and have a good answer for their, for their runs away. Give you a good example here from the butt shot. Now here, what do you notice? Again, right here, what's he calling out? He's calling out run. So our guys play with a different mode of play when it's run. I'm going to strike blocks. The reality is this guy right here, he's a dropper. He'll drop. He's a strong hook dropper, but he's only going to drop if it's a pass. Right here, you can see he's not dropping, right? Why? Because it's not pass. He's striking because he identified that it was run.